Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 19th Annual Women in Engineering and STEM Dinner, and happy Women's History Month. I know that yesterday was International Women's Day. Thank you all for being here and for celebrating this day with us, and this month with us. In case you don't know me, my name is Priya Jain. I am a third-year undergraduate student majoring in web design and engineering. I am a board member of Society of Women Engineers, who's sitting over there. Give them a round of applause. I am also part of Association of Computing Machinery Women's chapter over there. And I am also a board member of Women in STEM. I don't know if any of them are here tonight, but also part of that student organization as well. At this time, I would like to introduce our wonderful Dean of School of Engineering, Dean Elaine Scott. Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
I can't hold enough because I...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Hello, you all. Welcome very much. It's so wonderful to see you all here. You guys sit up front if you haven't sat down yet. It's a little bit, you're far away. So I'd like to welcome everyone and particularly give thanks to everyone who made this night possible. So thank you very much. This is just a wonderful evening. I'm Elaine Scott again, Dean of the School of Engineering, and I want to apologize in advance. I unfortunately have another meeting that I have to run to at 6, but I'm going to come back here right after it's done, so I'll see you at the tail end of the meeting. So seeing you all just fantastic women in engineering and STEM is just so incredibly inspiring. It's just so wonderful to see so many of you here. And I hope you can cherish this community and really gain support from each other as you go through your academic life and your professional life afterwards. Engineering is a service profession. If you think about it, it's a service profession in the same way as being a doctor is a service profession. And at Santa Clara University, we aim to build a more just and humane and sustainable world. And we can't do that without engineering. So if you look forward, we not only need to focus not only on the technical outcomes and how economically viable a engineering solution is, we need to look at, well, what's the environmental impact? What's the impact on the most vulnerable parts of society? You all are the ones that can really make that difference going forward. So think about that. You are going to be the next generation of engineers who are going to bring up those questions, stand up and make a stand when you see something is not right. Make it well known. So your technical expertise plus the values that you bring here at Santa Clara University will make you very valuable engineers as you go forward in the future. So I challenge you to be the change makers in engineering, and I have full faith that you will be able to do so, and that one day we really will have that more just, humane, and sustainable world. So before leaving, I'd like you all to pause and reflect of all those who've come before us. There are many hidden figures that have opened doors for you all that allow you to come here. So take a moment and think of the people in, not only in your life, but people before that you may not even know that made this education for you accessible. I think myself, my mom incredibly turned 100 this year. And if I think past that lifetime that she went through, when she was your age, many of the opportunities that we take for granted weren't available to her. So many things have changed over the years, but we're not done. There's many things that need to be done. So I hope you enjoy your dinner and the program tonight, and I hope to see you a little bit later. So I apologize again for having to leave. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean Scott, for that inspiring speech. Next, I would like to welcome to the stage the president of ACM-W, Ms. Ananya Pagadala.
All right, it was a long walk up here, but thank you guys for being out here tonight. I really appreciate you all for showing your faces and being involved with such an amazing event. And I hope that you guys are having an amazing winter quarter so far. But before I start, I want to thank all the faculty on campus and all the student orgs that have made this event possible for you guys. They have worked so hard all year long to provide amazing resources and such an inclusive space for you guys to grow and thrive. So can we get a round of applause for that? All right. So right now, engineers are making some of the most significant breakthroughs in our society. We're seeing things like internet platforms, cybersecurity, machine learning, and all these other prominent technologies that are changing our lives. These are things that we use every day to make our lives as people better. But the problem is that many of the names that we associate with such technologies are men. And with half the population being women, we deserve to have a strong female perspective. And it only gets better with the female perspective, which I am so proud to say right now that they're sitting right in front of us today. So, woo. You all are breaking the stereotype by being here and pursuing a career in engineering and working to improve yourself. And the thing is, breaking the stereotype can be terrifying. I feel alone when I'm one of a handful of girls in my classes. It's easy to feel like you don't belong when you don't see others like you. In fact, only 20% of undergraduate degrees in engineering, tech, and science are awarded to women. And it doesn't end there. In the workforce, 61% of women have to repeatedly prove themselves to get the same level of recognition and respect as their colleagues. This lack of representation makes us wonder if our dreams are even possible. However, don't forget that you are in your position today because you earned it. It's not what you are that holds you back, it's what you think you're not. So don't ever think that you're not enough or don't deserve to be here. You and every minute you spend in class, every milestone you pass, has a massive impact on our community. We're always told to change or be the change that you want to see in the world, but I'm here to say that you guys are all the change right now. You all are paving the path for the future generations, each wave making the path more accessible, just like a good engineer does. And you are the representation that we didn't have much of, the representation that the next generation will have plenty of. You all show so many people out there that it is possible to be an intelligent and resilient woman in engineering. We all should be working towards a community where we are constantly connected, learning about tech, and regularly striving to positively impact the world. We can help each other grow by bringing out the best potential in everyone. In a field where we, as women, are minorities, we must support, uplift, and empower one another. Thank you, guys. I'll hand it back to Priya.
Okay, thank you, Ananya. Now I would like you guys to go and enjoy some appetizers. There's water, there's a fruit tray. We have a couple of other, there's some chicken sauté strips, another vegetarian option. And then we will resume the speeches at 5:10. And in the meantime, enjoy some woman empowering music. Okay, everyone. At this point, I would like to continue with our student org speakers. First, I would like to introduce Nanki Sekhon from Society of Women Engineers.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nanki Sekhon, and I'm a fourth-year computer science and computer engineering major, and I'm also minoring in anthropology. And I am also so involved with SWE. I've been a part of SWE since my freshman year, and this year I am president. And before I get started, I want to wish you all a happy International Women's History Month. Woo! I feel like sometimes it can be so easy to forget how much women in history have worked to get us to this point in the face of discrimination and undue hardship. At Santa Clara University, it wasn't until 1961 when 75 female undergraduates were admitted. 1964 was when the first woman, Nancy Streeter Austin, was enrolled as a civil engineering student. And then it wasn't until much later that Asian, Black, Indigenous, and Hispanic female students had a presence at Santa Clara University. There is still work to be done. Currently, women engineers within the School of Engineering take up about less than half of 1,000 students. But this is changing every year. The class of 2026 in engineering was over 36% first-year women engineers. This was the highest number ever. If you walked into Heaphy this past Saturday, you would see Gaines and SWE++ taking over the building. High school and middle school girls were in the computer labs learning how to code and what it means to be an engineer. It was so inspiring and motivational to see. And I'm confident that these experiences will empower the next generation of women. A sense of community is what encourages women to pursue engineering. This community allows us to feel seen and supported throughout our academic journey, and it keeps the doubts of imposter syndrome at bay. I encourage you to recognize this and find this space in your friends, peers, classmates, and professors. We are here for you and want you to feel like you belong. I still remember the nervous excitement I had when I came to Santa Clara University. And now that I'm graduating, this feeling is bittersweet. I'm going to miss being surrounded by so many amazing people here that continue to inspire me and give me confidence in my abilities. But I've also had some less than ideal moments that made me question who I am and my skills. I've realized in life that there will always be people out there who don't want you to do well for one reason or another. But don't let these setbacks or obstacles discourage you. Use them as fuel to push you even harder. You are a part of a community of women who are breaking barriers, making history, and changing the world. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, whether it's personal or professional, it's within your reach and it's possible. Lastly, please join SWE and the United Nations Association of Silicon Valley for an International Women's Day celebration this Sunday. It'll be a panel event including women in tech, business, and engineering to discuss innovation, technological change, and education in the digital age for achieving gender equality and the empowerment of all women and girls. It'll be this Sunday, March 12th, in Skiddy 2302 from 12 to 2 p.m. And if you want to sign up, registration is required. And Dr. Banducci in the back, she's like in all purple. Yeah, she can help you sign up if you're interested. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Nanki. I know I'm going to miss you so much when you graduate. All right, last but not least, I would like to welcome Jaylinn Solis from Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jaylinn Solis. I am a senior bioengineering major, so I'm graduating this year. So exciting. Yeah. But I am one of the co-presidents alongside Karina Camarillo, who's not here, but who's another amazing woman in engineering, of the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. And I just wanted to say how important it is for events like this to occur within engineering and STEM. My experience as a Latina woman in engineering has been that of being told that I'm better at the lab write-ups or that I'm better at words than I am at numbers. We all know what it feels like to have an idea, but others not believing it works until it's validated by a man. Why does it have to be like that? It's something that takes a while to work on, and I wish it wasn't, but events like these are a great start. And I'm so grateful for the community that has helped me throughout these 4 years, such as Lead and SHIP. I'm so grateful for this community that has helped me. And I just wanted to say, continue making your presence seen, continue to be the change, and go against what others think. And you're forced to be reckoned, and just know that you're amazing. Be super proud of yourselves, and just know that you all belong here. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. At this point, we will be serving dinner, and I would say in about 10 minutes, we'll be hearing from, Bernell. I'm so sorry, Bernell. Yeah, please enjoy dinner, and then we'll reconvene in like 10, 15 minutes. Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the dinner. At this point, I would like to welcome Bernell Nivel from the Office of Multicultural Learning. Just hear from him.
The applause is too kind. How's everybody doing today? I know the weather is very frightful, but hey, we're all here together. We're celebrating, and it's a super exciting time to be here. So, good evening, everybody. My name is Bernell Nivel. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I serve as the Associate Director in the Office of Multicultural Learning, which includes the Rainbow Resource Center. Yes. Shout out to my office. We do some good work around campus. Yes. And so my office is very thrilled to be one of the co-sponsors for this year's Women in Engineering STEM dinner. And so as part of the Inclusive Excellence Division, the Office of Multicultural Learning, or OML, is committed to promoting social justice, building bridges across diverse communities, and celebrating differences of students at Santa Clara University. The Rainbow Resource Center, or RRC, works to maintain an affirming, inclusive, and welcoming environment for people of all identities within the wide spectrum of sexual orientations and gender identities at SCU. Uplifting and centering identities that have been historically marginalized is truly at the heart of the work of my office. And I'm here to say to you all that to all the women, femme, intersex, non-binary, and gender non-conforming folks in the room that you have a place here. Yes. We love inclusion, yes. In OML-RC, we are happy to provide a space for you to explore your own identities, to learn about the identities of others, or even learn how to be an advocate and allies for others. So feel free to stop by either one of our offices if you ever want to go deeper into conversations around identity. The OML is located at 832 Market Street, or house just on the other side of the street from Swig Residence Hall. And the Rainbow Resource Center is located in the lower level Benson Memorial Center, room 11. Just look for the rainbows, you can't miss it. We would also love to see one of our programs in the future. We have 10 amazing student inclusion educators and they're always hosting educational events, programs, and community-based events that center social justice and identity. So just feel free to follow us on social media to stay attentive to those events, or check out those weekly agendas that go to your inbox, the multicultural agenda and the gay agenda that send out every week. So according to a recent study done by the American Association of University Women, women make up 28% of the workforce in STEM fields. So it's so exciting to see all of you here today sharing your passions in the STEM fields, because it's really truly helping us shift the needle in a more positive and inclusive direction. So, because y'all really are the future, and I'm so happy to be here to celebrate you. Yes, again, we love inclusion. So I hope everyone is enjoying the food, because I timed this right, so yes, you're enjoying dinner. It's in my script. Woo. And so if those of you who know me know that I love me a good inspirational quote. If you ever need some pick-me-up, I have a paint can in my office full of inspirational quotes and messages. Stop in my office, pick a quote. But I want to end with this message from Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman astronaut in space. Don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity. It's your place in the world. It's your life. Go on and do all you can with it and make it the life you want to live.
All right, thank you so much. At this point, I'd like to recognize all the different lovely groups that we have in this room. So, if you are a first year in the School of Engineering, please rise. Woo! Thank you. If you are a second year in the School of Engineering, please rise. If you are a third year in the School of Engineering, please rise. If you are a fourth year in the School of Engineering, please rise. Okay, if you are in the arts and colleges of arts and sciences, please rise. Okay. If you are a graduate student, please rise. If you are an alumni, please rise. If you are on the faculty, please rise. And if you are one of the many people who helped organize this event, please rise. All right, so, okay. All right, so now at this point, we'll be sorry. Okay, so now it is time for the faculty alumni panel portion of the dinner. So I would like to introduce Dr. Tonya Nilsson, Dr. Rocio Lilen Segura, Leila Scola, and Edith Gonzalez. Yeah. Okay. Here's a mic for you. Thank you. All right, so before we begin, can all of you please introduce yourselves and your background at SCU, where you are now, or your connection to Santa Clara?
Hi everyone, my name is Leila Scola. I attended Santa Clara University just 2 years ago, graduated in 2021. I studied computer science and engineering, and I'm back now. Oh, I don't know. Okay. I also just graduated with my master's this last summer. Thank you. Also in CSE, and now I'm working at Microsoft.
Is it on? Yeah. Hi, I'm Dr. Tonya Nilsson. Most students call me Dr. T. I am faculty in the Civil, Environmental, and Sustainable Engineering program and currently the vice chair. And I have been here at Santa Clara since 2010, so just for a minute.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rocio Lilen Segura. I'm an assistant professor in the Civil Engineering department. And I just started last September, so getting used to SCU, but loving it.
All right, hello, everybody. My name is Edith Gonzalez, and I graduated this past June. with a degree in computer science and engineering and a minor in math. And now I have a job at Accenture, but actually don't start till August, even though I've had it since October. So just learning how to pass time by, taking a class again here at Santa Clara, and working on a little startup with a friend.
Thank you all so much. So first, what is your why? What made you decide to major in engineering, and how did you end up at Santa Clara University?
My why is that I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I know that I really liked working with people and I liked problem solving. And actually, one of the faculty here at Santa Clara, Dr. Krishnan, she really encouraged me, saying that it was going to be like, you know, we need more women in engineering. It would be a good path for me to follow. So I followed her advice, and then I ended up here.
So, like many of you, good at math and science in high school, didn't know what I wanted to do. Someone pointed me toward engineering, didn't know what it was. And I discovered structural engineering, and that ended up being my path. I thought it was really fun and fascinating to be able to say, that's my building. That big, huge thing, or that bridge, yeah, that's mine. But I was in practice. I was a licensed professional engineer. I got a master's in industry. But what happened for me is that all through my education, nobody taught me that nobody mentioned, I shouldn't say taught me, that engineering was a service profession. And even though it was really cool to go, hey, Mom, want to see my bridge? Like, I didn't think about the positive impact I had on humanity by the fact that you all know how to bridge. You're welcome, right? And so I really was like not satisfied, and I had an opportunity to teach at my undergraduate alma mater, and I went, whoa, this is, I think, where I could actually have an impact. And while I was doing that, a returning student, male, mentioned to me, he overheard some female students talking about how excited it was for the female students in the class to have a female professor, because I never had one in my undergrad in engineering. So I went back for a PhD, and I have found that teaching is amazing, and being here at Santa Clara has been such a gift. I feel like I won the jackpot because the students here are amazing.
Well, in my case, it was kind of the same. Like, I really like math. And we had like the engineering university close to home in Argentina. So I was like, okay, why not? I thought about architecture, but I wasn't that creative. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to choose the engineering path that has the least chemistry. So I went to civil, and then I end up like working with structures too. And yes, buildings and bridges are great, but dams, those are amazing. So, and then I think like I chose ACU. Well, I was excited about California, like a super like forward-thinking state, and also like I work with earthquakes and machine learning, so it doesn't get any better than here, right? So yeah, that's my story.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start with my why. So I am a daughter of two Mexican immigrant parents. So I knew that whatever I chose, I wanted to, one, make them proud, and I wanted to let them know that their sacrifices were worth it at the end. And so I wanted to choose, you know, a respectable major, something that paid well, honestly. And I told myself from the beginning I was going to be a doctor. I have an older brother who's still going down that path. He's in medical school right now. But when I was in high school, I took biology. I realized right there and there that I did not want to be a doctor. I don't like blood. I don't like biology. I don't like science much, actually. With what you said about chemistry, with computer engineering, I didn't have to take a single chemistry class here at Santa Clara, so I was very grateful for that. But actually, it wasn't until my junior year of high school I came to Santa Clara for SEEDS, Spring Education Engineering Days. And it was there where I learned all different types of engineering majors. And, we went mechanical, civil, we went through the whole line. And I just did not like anything. It didn't resonate with me. I'm like, maybe engineering's not for me. And it wasn't until that last Saturday we did computer science and engineering / web design and engineering. And I just immediately fell in love with it. I loved how creative you could be. Just the broad things you can do within computer engineering. I to this day don't really know what I want to do. I mean, I have a job now, but that can change down the line. That's what I love about it. It is so flexible. You can do so much with it. And yeah.
Thank you so much. So what does it mean to you when you hear woman in engineering or woman in STEM?
I think it's amazing. I love hearing it. When I mentioned I didn't have role models in college, my parents don't have college degrees. I didn't know any engineers, and so I love this university. I love the number of female faculty that we have here in support. I love how supportive it is of women in engineering, and I think that it's so critical having you out into practice because effective design needs diversity. And if you need any example of why women need to be on the team, go use the dual flush toilets in these bathrooms and note which way the lever goes, because it's the wrong way for women. Because we don't touch that handle, we kick that handle. I see the nodding heads, and you gotta kick up to get single flush. There was not a woman on that team, just saying.
I think for me, being a woman in STEM or a Latina in STEM for myself is a title that I wear with pride. I think to me what it means is just having this strength to pursue this field, it's male dominated. The strength to have to prove to everybody every single day that you do belong. And having the strength to prove to yourself, all these thoughts in your head saying that you're not enough, that you are worth it and you do belong. And so yeah, it's a title I wear with pride, and I'm just inspired every day. I think here today, just seeing all your faces just makes me excited for the future to come.
For myself, I think being a woman in STEM, we are part of an elite, and I used to feel super proud of that. And each time someone was asking me, "Oh, what do you do?" and I was like, "I'm an engineer." I was like, oh. And I used to love that, but we shouldn't be proud of that. I mean, we shouldn't be proud that we're only less than 30% of us here. We're actually just a small percentage of people that is privileged of doing this profession that is amazing. And I think we should ask ourselves why historically it's only less than 30%. So I'm super proud of it, but also I'm we shouldn't be an elite. We shouldn't be much more than 30%.
Yeah, when I hear women in STEM or women in engineering, it definitely just makes me feel like I have a community to turn towards. My sophomore year, I wasn't really sure if this was the field for me. And so I really thought I was going to switch into College of Arts and Sciences, try and find a better fit. And I told myself before I did that, I was going to go to one club meeting for ACM-W. And there I ended up meeting some of the greatest friends and mentors of my life, and it just was a community that wanted to empower other people, not even women. And I think that's what I get the feeling of, is just this sense of empowerment and encouragement. But I do share a similar sentiment that I hope one day it won't be so unique and that we'll just be engineers, So yeah, definitely a form of empowerment, but also hope that we continue to grow in numbers and the field becomes more equal.
Thank you. So how, if at all, would you say that your cultural identity, along with being a woman, played a role in your upbringing and decisions?
I think I touched a little bit on it earlier. So I think being a Latina in STEM is just being a double minority. It's really just that. You know, you face the struggles of people just seeing you for a woman, and then it's seeing that there aren't a lot of people that look like you or speak like you, have similar upbringings as you. So I think that really weighed in on me. More than that, I felt that I had this stronger need to be successful because it wasn't just for me. It was to prove to others that we belong. That was really all it was, that just minorities in general belong in this field, although we have been underrepresented. And we should ask that question, why? I always thought it was because growing up, we didn't have the representation, we didn't have the resources. So really think about how we can go ahead and fix these injustices moving forward.
Well, I completely second that. I'm from Argentina, so I lived most of my life over there. I did my undergrad, and when I was in high school, we have kind of we call it technical high school, which is one extra year. So most of guys go over there, and I went to what we call science or commercial school. So I remember we were all women and maybe 2 or 3 guys. And I really wanted to go to technical school, but my mom didn't want me to do 1 extra year. She wanted me to go straight to college. And we are all women in my family. And the thing is Latin America or South America, I think where it's a very sexist also culture. So that thing going against what you supposed to be doing. My family always told me you can do whatever you want, and not because a guy is doing that you cannot do that. So that was I was super motivated by that because I'm super competitive. So I really, really wanted to prove them wrong. And yeah, definitely being a Latina in STEM, it's a double minority. But I think we start seeing more and more examples, and yeah, I think that's amazing.
The awkward applause every time. Y'all don't need to applaud between each person. So I'm a little bit older than everyone else on the panel. So I grew up in rural California in a very small town that has a Marine Corps base. So it's a rather conservative place. When I was in high school, I wanted to get into, amazingly, we went all the way to calculus. But Frank Allen and I were both poised to double up on Algebra 2 and Geometry and get into Calculus 2. They wouldn't let me because I was a girl. I wanted to take drafting. That's for boys who want to be, I don't even know what they said, draftspersons, not even knowing it was for engineering. And I was fortunate enough to, even though my family was conservative, just the upbringing was, my dad would always say, you can do anything you want to do, it's whether or not you choose to do it. Even though then when I went to get a PhD, instead of getting married and have children, he was upset. So, but so for me, the cultural thing was, where's a woman's place? Where's the role, right? And just fighting that because it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I think, again, that same thing, ditto, having been told growing up, it was sort of told you have to go to college, even though they hadn't, and you can do what you want to do, that, yeah, every time, I just had blinders on. I can't tell you the number of times in classes that I was ignored if I had a question, or I was the only girl in the room, and not as bad as some of my mentors here now that went through it even before I did, some of the other faculty. But yeah, it's, as you'd mentioned, it's that perseverance. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to prove that I can do this because you said I can't.
My story is a little different than the other panelists. I grew up here in Silicon Valley, and my parents' roles in a traditional sense were kind of flipped. My dad was a stay-at-home dad, and my mom worked, went out and worked. And so from a very early age, there weren't these impositions, or I didn't feel the impositions of society. And then also I feel like Silicon Valley in general, is very encouraging of innovation and creativity. So I always felt like I got the same encouragements from my family of do whatever you want to do, and as long as you do it, make sure you're putting your full effort. That's what matters, is that you're giving your full effort. So I never felt this sense of oh, I can't, or this isn't my job, or whatever. I never felt any of those restrictions. I was free to do what I wanted as long as it mattered to me. And I feel very lucky. I feel very privileged. I think even today that's affected how I walk through life and walk through work. I don't feel like there's any barrier, anything I can't do. If anything, it would only be my own mental barrier creating something. I think that as I get older and hear more experiences, though, it really shows me the kind of society or community that I hope to contribute to, build, and hope that it expands. But yeah, my upbringing was very loving and very encouraging, so I never felt any of those impositions. In terms of engineering, I will say my family definitely were they all went. I wasn't a first gen college student. They all went to school, so I did feel that again there was not necessarily an expectation, but the bar was high. I didn't set my sights low, because what was surrounding me were people who were educated, held good jobs, things like that. So yeah, it was overall very encouraging, and I feel very lucky, and I hope that in some way I can use my privilege to pay it forward instead of feeling guilty or trying to hide it or something like that.
Thank you. So what challenges have you faced, do you still face, and then how are you overcoming them? Another question is, what challenges do you or did you face at Santa Clara?
I think one of the biggest obstacles that I faced and continue to face is one that I put on myself. It's this feeling of, do I deserve it? I think I ask myself that question every day, do I belong, do I deserve it? And I think it was really hard to answer that question when I was at Santa Clara, because I'd be in class looking at a professor, most likely than not would be male. I would look at my peers, most likely than not they would be male as well. And so I felt that I was always looking for that representation and this reassurance that, you are where you belong, And I think what helped me was finding a community to provide me that reassurance, provide me that sense that you are right where you need to be. And with that, I think I'd give a shout out to SHPE. They have been the greatest supporters and continue to be, even though I already graduated, in terms of mentors, in terms of seeing people who look like you within those classroom settings that want you to succeed, that want to build these resources for you to encourage you to continue. I think my sophomore year, similar to Leila, I didn't think I was gonna stay within my major. I was taking the physics series at the time. If y'all have taken physics, you know it's quite difficult. And I really questioned my worth within that class. And it wasn't until I spoke with someone who was a year above me that she went ahead and let me know, you know what, I didn't do so great either. And that made me feel so much better, because there's this need, we feel this need to be perfect. And we were never really taught to fail. In high school, I was a straight A student, never struggled with my classes. So it wasn't until college that I really learned what failing meant and just how important it was within our learning process. I don't think we're really taught how to fail. Fail fast, fail often, and just make sure you always learn something from each failure. And so I have Daisy to thank for, continuing on through my classes, reminding me that it's okay not to do the best. Just continue moving forward, and that's the biggest thing I could take away from that.
I want to build off that, so I'm going to jump in case we're going down a line here. So, when I heard you talking about your challenges, and I thought about to my very first faculty position, I was the first female in the School of Engineering that was tenure track. So here's what I did with that. Well, I can't be mediocre because then my brain said people would think all women are mediocre. A man could come in and be mediocre, but there's a gazillion men, so nobody would think he was the representation of the man. So, I'm not putting in 100%, I'm putting in 150%, right? I'm gonna be the best teacher, I'm gonna do all the things, whatever. And then what I stopped learning how to do, or not learning how, but stopped doing, was knowing how to reflect and sit with my successes. I came back from a meeting and taped on my door was a sign that said, "Congratulations, you've earned tenure." But I had a meeting with someone, and I was like, "Great, check," and ran away. There was no "Oh my God, I earned early tenure, it's so amazing," right? Didn't do that. And I hear you talk about, because we feel like we don't necessarily belong, and so we have to work so much harder. I just learned something that I want to share with all of you, because I know we are not the only ones that are feeling like we have to be perfect and we have to work harder, and maybe we have this imposter syndrome, right? This I did not know about imposter syndrome. The higher your expectations are of yourself, the more unrealistic your expectations are of yourself to be perfect all the time, it increases your imposter syndrome because you can never achieve the level of perfection that you have set. So we end up creating a lot of our own imposter syndrome. It was like a smack upside the head when I heard that. I'm like, that's my life. So, quarter's almost over, spring break's coming. Take a moment to reflect on that. Because you all are enough. You got here because you deserved it. You belong here. We're not all going to get straight A's. I'll talk to you after about that DiffyQ final. I am positive I flunked, and I have a PhD in structural mechanics, right? So, right? So, yeah, I'm
done. My list of challenges is somewhat short, both because of my upbringing and, I'm young, so I haven't seen enough. No, I didn't mean it like that. No, but I think I just haven't seen enough of the world. But I will say I am small, and I'm little, and my voice is little. So a lot of times, the biggest challenge I'm facing, which is really not the worst in the world, but people don't think that I'm qualified. And half the time it's because they don't think I'm old enough, but half the time it's because they think, no, someone like her couldn't. So I think most women face this, and of course men too, but whenever I walk in the room, I'm like, okay, I have something to prove right off the bat. And so I set these high expectations for myself, and I am trying to do a better job reflecting, and I think that's the biggest challenge, is to know that, at the end of the day, if you did the work that was set out for you, you don't have to do that 150% to be enough, right? If you did the 100%, that's more than enough. And if you did 80%, you're doing what everyone else is doing. So that's what I have to say about it.
Personally, I think the challenges, imposter syndrome, I think is something that is going to be with me my whole life, but I'm trying to deal with that. I definitely think taking a step back and think about everything you have achieved. That's a way of deal with that. So I think that what Dr. T just said, that's exactly the right thing to do. Then maybe just to share some personal experiences about challenges. Do you think about being a double minority? Happened to me a lot of times that I know, I remember starting my PhD and my advisor saying did you take this course? It's a really difficult one. And I was like, yes. Well, which book did you use? I mentioned the book and it was the same book that they used. And they were like, that's a big book. There's a lot of numbers in that book. I was like, yes. So, I don't know, I think and at that time, I think I even took that kind of as a compliment, saying woo, I used a really difficult book. And then I was like, no, that's a microaggression. And there's nothing micro about those aggressions, okay? So, yeah, just be resilient and yeah, think about everything you achieve because you're here today and there's a reason for that. So yeah, just be proud of yourself.
Thank you. So who are your biggest support systems?
Could Dr. Sally Wood please stand up? This woman is amazing. For me, as an undergrad, SWE had my back. And it was just so fabulous to have this phenomenal cohort of just amazing, extraordinary women just leading. Our club ended up being one of the most popular as an undergrad, and all the men wanted to come to our events because we had the best ones. But when I finished undergrad, and especially, when I started my first program, my first teaching program, once I finished my PhD, which in my PhD I had no female teachers. I did have 2 in my master's. So, I didn't really have a lot of faculty mentors. I did have a male mentor in my first teaching job, because there were no women, and he was amazing, and he had 2 daughters and a wife that would have kicked his behind had he not been fabulous to me. She's wonderful. But coming here to Santa Clara, we have such an amazing group of women that are here that are so supportive, both in and out of the School of Engineering. I have mentors now around. But I would say in the room, Sally Wood really, we worked together on something, and it created such an amazing opportunity for me to see somebody who went through it way before I did with such grace and such elegance, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, I will share that sentiment. I, here at Santa Clara, faced so many encouraging people and mentors, but definitely a lot of the faculty and staff. Most of them are in the room tonight. Dr. T for sure with SWE. Dr. Masurlian first got me in the School of Engineering, encouraged me to stay. Dr. Figuera, Dean Scott, even Ricky was there to support us. And definitely my SWEsters, that's who made me feel like I belonged and encouraged me nonstop. And then, of course, my family. I think that's to have a good group of friends and your family behind you gives you the confidence to, that you have a foundation to turn to no matter what happens in your day-to-day.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Leila. I think family was a huge thing for me. Again, I felt that they had done so much for me that I wanted to pay it back. And with that, we talk about having so much pressure on ourselves that they would constantly remind me, it's okay. And I would break down crying to them, it's okay. It really is. At the end of the day, a couple years from now, a couple months from now, none of this will really matter. Your grades won't matter. You're doing the damn thing. You are doing the damn thing. Just remember that. And I think I really appreciate all their support through my 4 years here, and obviously before that and after that. But also, again, another shout out to SHIP. I see a co-president, Jay, over here in the back. So shout out Jay and everyone else in the SHIP, because again, they were my family here at Santa Clara. They were my, I have no. They just proved to me that we do belong, and they're just that driving force for me, honestly, so yeah.
Yeah, for myself, I would say like definitely like my family. I call them like the crisis management group. So definitely them for sure. Then I was super excited about like coming to SCU and seeing like we have so many like powerful like female models. We have our dean, we have our president, we have our co-chair. And do you want to stand up? You've been like a super support for me, and I think like one thing that gives me a lot of confidence and this constantly like lifting each other up, saying like you can do this. Like, whoa, if she's a super good thing that I can do it, I should definitely do it. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. So the last question is, what do you like to see be done differently at Santa Clara University and in your industry for women in STEM? And how can Santa Clara University better support women students in STEM moving forward?
I don't know. I so enjoyed my time at Santa Clara that it's hard to point to something and go, that wasn't good enough. I do think that if anything could be done, not at Santa Clara specifically, but just making sure that the word gets out there about these groups that really do act as support groups, right? Like SWE was my support for 4 years. And definitely now that I'm in an industry, like I've always been a part of SWE, and then at grad school I joined another group. So now that I'm working, I don't have that. And it just feels like a little part of my heart is missing. So I think that at least in engineering, I wish that these social groups within the bubble of, you know, your work, your school, were highlighted more, were encouraged more, and made to be like a regular part rather than like an extracurricular. Because I think supporting that mental and social health aspect of it is just as important as the education, right? It is a part of the education, right? So not that that needs to change at Santa Clara. I felt like I had so much of it in a wonderful way. But in industry, I think that it'd be nice if I saw that.
I think there's a lot of things that Santa Clara does well, and impressed with the administration and, you know, different faculty who do things to create support. This dinner, you know, being one of the events, but there's always room for improvement. We did the university did a climate survey not too long before COVID, and I think we're doing another one soon, and we'll get more data, but you know, we discovered definitely around our underrepresented students that we were not all that, right? We tend to think we're this super supportive faculty, whatever, but apparently we weren't all that. And even within the School of Engineering, and we've worked hard to improve that. I think it's been 6 years now, but there's still ways to go. And one of the things I would love to see happen is sometimes, you know, you talk about your aggression was not a microaggression from your faculty member. That was your PhD advisor. That was pretty macro, not micro. But I think sometimes the comments that can get made are made out of ignorance, not always, but I think for a lot of time, because I think we do have a lot of faculty here that care. Why don't we have on the SET or even in every class and evaluation something that literally addresses I felt included? I felt included. The professor created an inclusive environment. It says a mutually respectful, but that's not necessarily the same. I mean, we try to do these different workshops with faculty, but if a faculty thinks they're all that, right, and chairs see also, and the dean sees the SET numbers, the student evaluation as the teaching numbers and comments, I think that would be a critical question, and I think the entire university needs to have that. I also think we need to stop highlighting the clubs at the Multicultural Center just on Parent Day and Open House Weekend. Yeah, that's got to stop, right? Somebody needs to talk to marketing also. That it's like, yeah, I think y'all know what I'm talking about, but I feel like a lot of times our pictures, like, look how amazing diverse we are, look at all the women in engineering, and we're telling a story, but are we really supporting those people the entire school year? And I don't know that that's happening. And I don't know the answer to that, but we could certainly, y'all are smart, y'all have great ideas, let's workshop it out, you know, and figure out some of the better ways to do that. So those would be my current 2 for SCU.
And I think to piggyback off of your point on addressing underrepresented groups and students, I can only speak on my experience. So my experience at my 4 years at Santa Clara was I felt that I couldn't just be a student. The whole point of college is to learn. And I felt that I had a greater need to do more holding these leadership positions with these MCC groups, with SHPE, to explain to higher-ups, to admin, you know, why we do deserve to have this funding, or why we do deserve to have X, Y, Z. And it's great because then we get these results at the end, but they're so draining on the students. So much time and effort is required that I felt like it honestly took away from having just being a student. I also work part-time on campus, so I think it's just really hard to manage everything when I felt that my greatest need, again, should have been, I want to make sure that the next incoming class gets a better experience than I did. How can I change that? But also, I'm not getting paid for this. So how much time can I really give? You know, it's like give and take. What can you do? Like, do I work? Do I, you know, study? So you gotta study. Or do I, you know, have these meetings, do all this stuff? And it was really hard for me to, I think looking back at it, you know, I'm so grateful that I did spend all that time, but I wish I had time for myself. I think that's the greatest thing. I wish I had time for myself.
Well, I wish I could provide like a lot of insight, but it's been only 6 months that I'm here. But what I've seen so far, it's I would like to see like maybe like to promote more like diversity, but like actually like not only like talking about diversity, but like maybe listening more to all the students association when we're planning maybe for equity, diversity, and inclusion. Actually listen to what they have to say. I mean, I also like I try to go sometimes to especially the Latinos meetings. I don't want to be the professor going to the to all the student meetings all the time, like, oh, we cannot talk freely because she's here. But one of the things, like, you're like, all the students associations, I think you're like super independent, and I'm super proud of that. Like, you know what to do, but also like reach out to faculty. Like, we're here for that. So whatever you need, like actually it's my job, so I'm here for that. So yeah.
Thank you so much for such a meaningful conversation. Now it is time for each of our panelists' closing statements.
I did not prepare a closing statement, but I do want to say that I hope everyone does feel like they deserve where they're at in this moment, and that they know that they earn all their future successes, and that really the largest barrier to anything in your future is probably going to be you telling yourself that you haven't earned it yet. So know that, like, the answer is always no until you ask, and you should always ask, because you do deserve it and you worked hard for it.
Okay, so I actually have some bullet points because I go everywhere. I go everywhere with my thoughts. I want to make sure I get this part right for you all. So the first point is your identity, your shared experiences, they are your superpower. And there is so much power in owning who you are and your uniqueness. 2, just because you don't fit in doesn't mean you don't belong. And my last point is sometimes things feel harder than expected when you don't see someone who looks like you in the same room. But that's the thing, we need you. Representation is important, and when you see you in those rooms, then it's the reassurance we need to know that we can do it too. Thank you.
So, yeah, I didn't have like a closing statement either. I'm so sorry for that. However, I'm just going to piggyback on that. I think like we all have superpowers, and you know, like those little signs that we see in the female toilet room. Well, actually, I think like they got it all wrong. It was never a dress. It was like a superhero cape. Okay.
Well, first off, I love the fact that the very recent 2 alumni just killed the closing statements, and those of us were like, oh, God. Because that's what we want to have happen, right? Y'all are amazing, and you're just showing it. I think the thing I want to just build on how much you do belong, I want to give you a little fact that's out there that you may not realize, but employers do. A, B, and C male students in high school are encouraged to go into engineering. A, female students are not even encouraged to go into engineering. The women that go into engineering not only are driven and resilient and capable, but they tend to be of a higher caliber on average than their male counterparts. And I have had multiple employers from large firms talk to me about that's their shared experience. So if you ever doubt you belong here, just let that go, because you're all rock stars. All right? Have a good night.
Right. Thank you all so much for sharing your insights. I myself learned a lot hearing each and every one of you. I honestly, I don't know if I have anything to say that these like wonderful women haven't said already. I think I'll just say that just from like a student point of view, like I know that's gonna be hard some days, that you're gonna feel discouraged that, okay, maybe School of Engineering isn't for me, maybe computer science isn't for me, maybe just STEM in general is not for me. But keep going, because You chose STEM for a reason, and I think it is so satisfying when not only you prove others wrong, but you also prove yourself wrong, that I could do this, and just breaking those like barriers that you made for yourself. So just keep going, because it's hard. Like, trust me, like I'm struggling right now as well. Like, I'm being transparent here. But I know that if I keep going, I'm gonna look back when I'm working and I'll be like, oh my God, this was all worth it. Like, I got through this, and like, look where I am now. So just keep going. Thank you all so much. Thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. And thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Dean Scott. Thank you to everyone just for being here. I really hope that you found a space for yourself here, and that you've just networked with people. You found people that you could connect with. This was all about you. Today was just all about you guys. So I hope you felt like you could celebrate yourselves and celebrate like you being in STEM and engineering. And have a good night. Thank you.